What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake MLB DFS Wise stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed above, or directly at WiseTake.com. If you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level, we are a premium DFS content provider, as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Go check out Saturday passes available. That being said, if you're new to this channel, welcome. You've come to the right place with some free fire DFS content. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and don't miss out on any of the free content we put out. Currently covering MLB slates Monday through Friday, meaning we stream live Sunday night through Thursday night with our first look right here. So come along for the ride. NFL right around the corner. Very excited. We'll be covering some NFL on the channel as well as we continue to cover MLB. And then, of course, blink of an eye after NFL starts, it'll be time for basketball to kick back up, and we'll be covering that as well. So appreciate those of you rocking with the nation. Jonathan Adams, what's going on? Says, what's up, guys? It's been a great weekend DFS-wise. Man, it's good to hear, man. Very good to hear. I know Paulie had a pretty good weekend DFS-wise. Mine was so-so. Could have been better. Could have been worse. But we were coming off of a really strong week last week, so I ain't got to complain too much. But shout out to you, bro. I'm glad to hear you did well. I hope more people did well. I like to hear people doing well in the DFS streets. We've got a small slate to cover on a Monday. 7 games. 7 games. Whew, excuse me. These late night shows, man. The grind. Grind is real. But anyway, we'll get into top pitchers. It's an interesting one. I only got 3 pitchers that, to me, I can really say were my top pitchers that stood out to me. The rest is going to require some feel of ownership, I guess, and some risk. Number 1 was Luis Garcia. He's the most expensive pitcher on DraftKings. Good park against Seattle. Good opponent against Seattle. If we take a look at Seattle, who's been trolling at times, a 26% K rate against righties with a 158 ISO and a 296 WOBA. And if we look at Luis Garcia's numbers, man, shit's legit. 66% ground ball rate. That's not the right Luis Castillo. There's another one. I think they were pulling up his sample, but a 28.5% K rate is correct. A 3.67 Sierra is correct. 3.9 xFIP is correct. But we should expect some pretty high ownership. Adams got 2 out of the 3, right? Garcia, Ohtani. Next is Shohei Ohtani. 31% K rate, highest on the slate. xFIP and Sierra under 4. It's good to see. Playing the Rockies away from Coors. Colorado dead last in WRC plus against righties with a 71. Only a 297 WOBA, a 142 ISO, and a 22.9% K rate. Now, 22.9% is not that high, so that's something to keep in. The Rockies don't strike out as much as people think, considering how bad they are. But, again, the lack of options kind of keep us trending this way. The only other guys really German Marquez, and this is all off numbers, of course. 3.53 xFIP, 3.98 Sierra, 24.7% K rate's not awful. He's playing an Angels offense that was playing was playing pretty well, maybe even overperforming, considering they've been missing Anthony Rendon and the best player in baseball, Mike Trout. Currently have a 103 WRC plus, 319 WOBA, 175 ISO, and a 23.8% K rate. But Marquez himself has some of the better numbers on the slate, so we had to throw him in the mix. A couple guys in the things to watch section we'll discuss, but we're going to move on to top offenses, starting with the Red Sox. So the Red Sox have the highest implied run total, at least as of now, 10 to 13 p.m. Eastern, with the totals that we have out. They're at home against Toronto. Thomas Hatch, unproven young guy, most likely somewhat of a bullpen game, I would think. And Boston Red Sox are one of the top offenses, again, with one of the highest totals in the game. Currently a 190 ISO against righties. Good to see. Expect them to be popular. On the other side, I think that the Blue Jays could get some ownership too against Pavetta. Blue Jays, talk about top offenses, second in WRC plus, tied for second in WRC plus with the Dodgers at 114. They have a 197 ISO, which is significantly higher than the Dodgers, 178, and only a 21.4% K rate. Now they're, I think at the end of the year, I think pretty soon their home games are going to be back in Canada, back in Toronto. at the Rogers Center. But regardless, they're on the road. They're in Boston, still a very good hitting park. Expect them to be popular against Pivetta. The White Sox, not a great park, obviously in Kansas City, but it's been pretty humid and pretty warm. We'll have to see what the weather looks like. There's been some fairly high scores there recently. Mike Minor is a lefty, not having as good of a season as he's had. And, of course, we know about the White Sox, right? They are one of the top teams in the league against lefties, have been all season, currently third in WRC+. Behind the Angels, actually. 174 ISO against Mike Minor. Leonard, what's going on, bro? Good to see you, man. Phillies against Joe Ross. I'm not a big Joe Ross fan. I think you could argue that Joe Ross is a potential option with a 24.7% K rate. If we take a look at Philly, they have not been that great offensively on the season against righties. An 89 WRC plus, 304 over 157 ISO, 23.8% K rate. So I should have put him in the things to watch segment. But I didn't. I did have the Phillies jotted down here. Obviously, this is a division game. The Astros, they'll be going up against a pitcher that's not even on my list at the moment. What is it? Darren McCowan. So we'll see if it's confirmed. Supposed to be a young pitcher pitching for Seattle, which means we could see a bullpen game from Seattle as well. Obviously, Houston, one of the best, or at least the highest WRC plus in the league against righties at 117, only a 19.8% K rate. Perhaps Houston gets a little bit overlooked because they're playing all the way out west, right? It's going to be a later game. Perhaps. I mean, they're one of the top offenses in the league, so I would think they would get some love, but we'll have to wait and see. Last but not least, Matt Manning. Matt Manning. Another one who didn't make my list here, but will be added by the time I post this chart in my article. It'll be adjusted. But Matt Manning is supposed to be pitching for Detroit. His numbers have been awful. Finally had a pretty good start. His numbers have been awful. He's playing the Twins. Twins obviously no longer have Nelson Cruz, and I'm concerned. I think that their offense may sputter a little bit with that change. So, but if we do see Matt Manning, I think that, Twins have some upside. But it's tough when you have a team that's so willing to, that is selling. Obviously, like younger teams like the Mariners and all this, they got younger players who are motivated. But when you got veteran players on a team like the Cubs, for instance, who we'll talk about in a second, that aren't so, they're not really chasing anything. They're getting rid of some of the better players. They're obviously kind of punting the season away. Sometimes you worry about motivation. Things to watch. So Kyle Hendricks, one of the most expensive pitchers on a slate. He's at home. I think Kyle Hendricks' numbers don't look great. His ERA is not bad, and I think that's why he's up here. But his xFIP and Sierra are significantly higher than what we've grown accustomed to from a guy like Kyle Hendricks. He's never been a huge strikeout guy. We'll give him that. But he's playing Cincinnati, who has one of the best hitting parks in the game, which could be inflating their offensive numbers, but nonetheless, solid WRC plus ISO WOBA against righties. Something to keep an eye on. Mike Pineda. He's another one, man, hasn't looked as good this year. We haven't seen him a ton. He's been dealing with injury. Detroit's been hot. Now, they did only put up one run tonight against Lawrence Lynch, whatever. But Detroit, 26.1% K rate against righties, 160 ISO, 307 WOBA, 92 WRC plus. And Pineda is a guy that does throw a lot of sliders, a guy that has had high strikeout rates in the past. So I think he could be an interesting SP2 at a cheap price. Last but not least, the Cubs and Wade Miley. So Wade Miley's not a guy I play a ton. I just don't like playing guys with low strikeout rates. Wade Miley's xFIP is not terrible. His Sierra is okay. He's at home in Wrigley, and as when I looked at this, we had neutral wins. The thing is, if you look at the Cubs against lefties, 25.4% K rate, 162 ISO, 318 WOBA, 98 WRC plus. They did beat up on Caleb Smith today, or Sunday night. Sunday, they beat up on Caleb Smith under the lefty. Now they get Wade Miley, and the thing is about Miley is he's followed up by a really bad Cincinnati bullpen. If we take a look at our handy-dandy bullpen stats available at WiseTake.com, we will see that Cincinnati right here one of the worst bullpens, highest xFIPs in a league. This is currently I sorted it by xFIP, highest to lowest. But yeah, so it's a very interesting slate. It's a small slate. I think that in cash games, we'll go with the best plays on the board, and in tournaments, we'll try to get a little bit different. And that's going to be the key to our success, as always. Make sure you delve into my core plays article, which will be up probably around 4 p.m. Eastern at WiseTake.com, Paulie D's dirt sheet as well. But we'll have to dig in on this one. Don't watch him. We're out here. I'm going Tim Anderson, number 1. He's been red hot. Lefty masher. Let's go. Bryce Harper, number 2, against our man Joe Ross. Even though I'm starting to think Joe Ross maybe is even more viable than I initially considered. We'll go Bryce Harper either way. Rafael Devers against Mr. Hatch. Devers is kind of on a hot streak. Lefty versus righty. Let's fucking go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for this edition of the WiseTake MLB Wise stream. Appreciate those of you who took the time to hang out with us, took the time to grind it live, and those of you that took the time to watch after the fact, man. I appreciate y'all. Please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.